Okay, this is going to be a movie review of the new movie that came out just a few days ago, Iron Man. And I'm not going to go into the details of this movie as I did on previous movie reviews, because the new movies I'm just going to tend to talk about what I like about them and why they're good movies or why they may be bad movies. In the case of Iron Man, the trailer for it did not really make me want to go see this movie, because the trailer made it to look like it was just a giant action movie once again, and it was just going to be a special effects extravaganza, and I really wasn't interested in that. But then I noticed, more than 90% of the critics liked it, and lots of other, average people liked it as well. Figured I'd give it a chance, and I'm glad I did, because I actually really enjoyed it. In Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr. plays Tony Stark, a multi-billionaire, owner of Stark Industries, and basically a company that makes advanced weapons for the military to use to help protect America. So Tony, in the beginning, travels to Afghanistan to put on a demonstration for the Air Force, and on his way back to his airplane, his convoy that he's traveling with is attacked by terrorists, and he ends up being injured by one of the weapons that he made, well, his company made. So the terrorists that attacked his convoy actually did it to kidnap him, so he can make one of his newest advanced weapons for them to use. Instead, he makes a suit of honor of this big old iron suit, and so he could bust out of there and escape, which he does. And so back in America, he kind of turns the company around, and instead of making weapons to help protect Americans, which he finds out that really wasn't doing much at all, he's going to make a more advanced suit and kind of protect America almost himself. So that's pretty much it. That's the basis for the movie, and it's the basis for a really good movie. It's kind of this movie reminded me of Transformers, not in the fact that the storyline was the same or anything like that. I mean, as far as storyline and characters go, it's nothing like Transformers, but it's good to compare to Transformers, because about 3/4 of Transformers was a pretty good movie, and the last act just fell apart, and I really did not like it. Just seemed like the action was so much, it was getting boring. And that's one of the big pluses I liked about Iron Man, was that the action was here and there, but it wasn't, let's throw in a half hour of action and spend all the money on that. I mean, this movie didn't glorify the special effects, which it really glorified the characters, and the actors playing the characters more than anything else. And that's one of the major things I really liked about this. Another thing, this is a perfect example of how you can change time in a movie to fit the basic movie plot structure, because pretty much in almost every single movie, within 5-10 minutes, there's always something to grab to grab the viewer, because in today's society, so many people are impatient that they have to have something to really stop them from getting up and walking out. And this movie does a great job of this. This I can go into detail, because pretty much everybody knows this, without even seeing the movie, because it's in the trailer. But the movie starts off, they're on the road, driving somewhere. And he talks for about a minute and a half, and then all of a sudden there's a big explosion, and then proceeds a gunfight, which is action, but it's not glorified. It's not giant guns close up firing or anything like that. You hear it, and you get this small little action piece to grab you, and then it jumps back 36 hours in time. And the only reason to do that is just to have that little incident in the beginning to grab you. Then you can tell what happened before that and get everything else out of the way. So this is a perfect example of how time shifting in movies, the reason why time shift our movies is to fit specific plot points and everything. Another great example is like probably one of the monsters of them all is Pulp Fiction. How that thing changes back and forth to fit a plot structure. Another thing I really liked about this movie is how pretty much any superhero movie, I really don't call this a superhero movie, but any other superhero movie, there's always the question of, you know, who's under the mask, who is that, you know, who really is Superman, you know, where Batman, he wears that mask, I'd like to know who he is, you know, who's under the Spider-Man outfit. So the question always is, who is it? And it's always put off and put off and put off, and nobody knows. And this movie, it's never about that. I mean, it's only brought up a few times, and then when it is brought up, he comes out and says, it's me, it's me. And it's never about, you know, the general public really stay out of this movie, which is you know, another great thing. It's, you know, again, it belongs to the main characters. And, you know, at the end, he reveals himself, and it's never really a big deal. So yeah, that's one of the differences in this movie I really like. And another thing that sets this apart from other movies is he actually has a purpose in this movie of why he's doing this and why he's going through all the trouble of building this suit and everything. And then, you know, what can really make, you know, action movies bad is the dialogue and how characters interact with one another and whether the jokes work or not. Again, Transformers was something I was just thinking of when I watched this movie. And about half the jokes worked in Transformers, the other half I felt were not that great. But, you know, this movie, there's lots of snappy dialogue, you know, good interactions, it was well written, and also every single joke in the movie really worked for me. You know, it didn't try to be too funny or too sly. They just, you know, everything worked. And then, really, it's kind of hard to find something to complain about. I never go into a movie looking for something to complain about. The only thing was the villain seemed kind of easy to figure out. You could see it coming, but again, it's not that big of a deal because everything else worked in the movie. So, you know, definitely recommend this movie to anybody. It's probably one of the better movies out at the theaters right now. You know, if you like superhero movies, you're going to like this just because of the superhero aspect. But if you like regular movies, it's much better of a regular movie than it is a superhero movie, and that's why I like it. It's more of a regular movie, not a cartoon. Whereas Transformers seemed more like a cartoon that said, "Hey, look at the special effects." Whereas this one, "Hey, look at the characters." So definitely go see this, and, you know, big recommendation here.